I wish it need not have happened in my time, said Frodo. So do I, said Gandalf, and so do all who live to see such times. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given us. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given us. It's November 4th. I am recording this around noon. Many of you might be feeling like Frodo right now. It was a long night, a discouraging election night. Our country did not speak clearly for the values that we profess. I want to read a couple things to you today, some things that are helping me think about this time. The first comes from St. Paul, 2 Corinthians chapter 4, where he writes that God has not promised us easy days, but God has promised to be a source of our strength, to be the source of our strength in the midst of difficult days. Paul writes in 2 Corinthians, "For it is the God who said, 'Let light shine out of darkness,' who has shone in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ. But we have this treasure in clay jars, so that it may be made clear that this extraordinary power belongs to God and does not come from us. We are afflicted in every way, but not crushed, perplexed, but not driven to despair, persecuted, but not forsaken, struck down, but not destroyed, always carrying in the body the death of Jesus, so that the life of Jesus may also be made visible in our bodies." So that the life of Jesus may be made visible in our bodies as the source of our strength in hard times. I want to read one more thing to you. Many of you all know I'm a great fan of the poet W.H. Auden. This is the last stanza of his poem, September 1st, 1939. That's the date that he wrote this poem. He wrote it during the rise of Nazism in Germany and when the United States was on the brink of war. He wrote it as someone who had a lot at stake. He was an openly gay man in the 1930s. He was what we would call today a progressive Christian. He was an expatriate from Britain. And he was feeling scared. He was feeling in despair when he wrote this poem. And he wrote this final stanza that really speaks to me today. He says, "Defenseless under the night, our world in stupor lies, yet dotted everywhere ironic points of light flash out where the just exchange their messages. May I, composed like them, of Eros and of dust, be leaguered by the same negation and despair, show an affirming flame." I think think that's what we are called to do today. We are called to let love and mercy and justice shine out in our prayers and in our actions, in our love for one another and for this world. So Grace Covenant, this is the candle that I got for All Saints Day. I'm going to light it. And we say together, may we, composed like them of arrows and of dust, be leaguered by the same negation and despair, show an affirming flame this day. Grace Covenant, remember you are loved. Remember that this community is here for you, and you are in our hearts, and we are praying for you, and we are praying for this nation and this world today.